Om Vandeham Sri Guru Srita Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavam Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalitam Sri Vishakanitamscha Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalitam Sri Vishakanitamscha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasudeva Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Jai Dayal Nitai Gauram Hare Krishna. Dear audience, devotees, my loving regards to all of you. All glories to the Supreme Lord, all glories to all our Guru God, all our Guru God. So, today I am coming back again in order to continue discussion on the same topic, which is Krishna consciousness and Christ consciousness. Because some devotees already drew my attention to that Maharaj, if you please make more elaboration on this subject matter further, it will be more beneficial, that will be more helpful for all of us. And I also thought and felt that today I need to continue further with a little more clarification on the same topics about the similarity, close similarities, and some differences between Krishna consciousness and Christ consciousness, or Christian consciousness. Since, you know, and I'm giving some special importance to this subject, since many of the Hare Krishna devotees are from Christian backgrounds. Before joining Krishna consciousness movement, many of them also felt inspired by some basic principles, basic noble principles from Christianity. And they also found similarities, great similarities with Krishna consciousness. So although many of them are also very respectful towards Christianity, their Christian background, I mean many of them are quite respectful about their Christian background, okay, the principles of which also inspired them to follow Krishna consciousness, join Krishna consciousness. Okay, as they found good similarities as well as the more developed theisms, more developed philosophy in Krishna consciousness. Therefore they were all attracted. But at the same time, they also maintained their due regard, all the due respects and appreciations for Christianity. So, and that was a reality. So, my other main purpose of giving more clarification on this subject matter, on this topic, is to help the people, or common devotees, to understand some beautiful relationship, some cooperating relationship, okay, commonly harmonious relationship between Christianity and Krishna consciousness. You know what happens? Sometimes we find, some fanaticisms on both sides. Christian people think, many of the Christian people think, oh, our religion is great. We have got everything in our Christian religion. Okay, so we are self-sufficient. We have got nothing to do with other religion, Eastern religion like Krishna consciousness. Okay. In a similar way, we also find some people from Krishna consciousness, some common devotees from the world of Krishna consciousness who also think alike. We have got nothing to do with Christianity or other religions. Okay, we are very fine. We are very fine being in Krishna consciousness, and we do not really know much about other religion. We also don't want to know much. Practically we have got nothing to do with other religious principles or religion. We are fine. But then what happens? Then always some gap in the international community of the devotees from different cultures, different conceptualizations, different concepts of religion, different concepts of the theisms, cannot be breached. In other words, what happens? If everybody from a particular religion feels alike, feels in that way, thinks in that way, oh, we have got nothing to do with other religion or with the practices of the members of other religion. Ours one is very fine and great. So, looking into or having some appreciation for other religious principles not really necessary. Then what happens? We do not find any unification, any principle of unity and harmony then between these theistic groups, okay, between some very nice, between among other all the nice religions, all the great religions in this world. And thereby we also, there is no scope for us, no scope among the mankind to have some mutual, duly respectful appreciation for each other, mutual appreciation for each other's religious practices, spiritual practices, because we are closed off. We are not open-minded to each other, not really open-minded, open-hearted. Okay, to have all due respects, due appreciations for each other's religious principles. Then what happens? Ultimately, that comes to the point, that reaches the point of dishonoring the Supreme God himself or herself. Because ultimately all the religions and religious principles and religious activities, I am talking of the theistic religions, no atheistic. So ultimately, all the practices and principles, ideals of all theistic religions are centering God. Around the description about the Supreme God, around centering and narrating the glories, upholding the glories of the same Supreme Lord, Supreme God, one without second. Ekameva Dvitiyam. Same Supreme God, same Supreme Absolute Truth, who is one without second. So when, in order to respect the religious order, religious principles, ideas and practices from one religion, we disrespect unnecessarily, we disrespect other higher spiritual principles from other religions who are also engaged in service to the God. In different language, different style, different culture, different forms. But their ultimate aim is none other than to worship the same Supreme God. To promote the love of God and also engage in devotional service to the same Supreme God. So then it becomes like that. So in order to respect one religion of God, we try to disrespect due to some confusions or incomplete understanding, we try to disrespect other religion of God. And ultimately we are disrespecting the spiritual principles which are connected to God. And ultimately it becomes kind of disservice to the same Supreme God. Because we are appreciating one side about Him, one side of religion related to Him, while depreciating the other side of the religion also connected with Him. So therefore this is very, very important for all the devotees of the same Supreme Absolute God, Supreme Personality of all, universal divine truth. Whether God we call by name God or Krishna, that we must harmoniously accept all types of God consciousness, wonderful, beautiful God consciousness as a whole, holistically. It's very, very important for all the devotees to understand this. That we must be accommodating, fairly accommodating, harmonizing. Harmony is already there. All we need to discover it. So we must be accommodating and harmonious about all types of God consciousness from all different languages, cultures, time, place, situations. There are all formal differences due to affected by different time, place, situations, language, cultures, cultural characteristics and all. But the very essence in all those religions about God, religions of God, related to God, are very, very similar and same. What is that essence? To worship God, to lovingly engage in adoring God, to engage in lovingly worshipping God, engage in loving devotional service to the same God, engaging in developing our natural relationship with God through loving service. That's the very common and essential motto and target of all the religions connected to God. So if we can respect this principle, if we can respect this reality, that we must have all due respects to all the great things from all religions relating to God, in relation to God, then ultimately we are ideally offering our respect to the same Supreme God. Okay? We are ideally offering our ideal service to the same Supreme God in holistic manner, holistically, instead of being always being isolated in the relative concepts. I repeat, instead of being just isolated, staying isolated within certain relative great, they are also very great, but still they are relative concepts of the God. So, in other words, if we cannot feel into or realize about the God consciousness holistically, then at different times, instead of rendering pure, ideal, holistic service to God, holistic view, we rather offer partial service. A service characterized by partiality, by partial concepts of the God consciousness. Sometimes, when we become too sectarian, very sectarian, then we even offer disservice to the same Supreme God. We need to remain careful. Now, giving some further clarification, illuminations on the same subject matter topics. Krishna consciousness versus Christ consciousness or Christian consciousness. See, the other day, I think day before yesterday, yes, আমি বলেছিলাম এর আগের দিন গত পরশু না, so day before yesterday, the way I clarified, I explained about Christ consciousness and Krishna consciousness. I gave more importance on the aspect of their common grounds. In other words, I mainly explained around the aspects of their very common ground, fundamental ground, both the philosophies, religions sharing. Krishna conscious religion and Christ conscious religions sharing. Okay, so I laid more stress. I specifically gave more importance on the aspect of the cooperation, similarities, their sameness, the harmony. But at the same time, we also need to understand that we find both characters between them. There are some common grounds, fundamental grounds of common nature between these two religion of Krishna consciousness, religion of Christianity. But at the same time, there are also distinctions, distinct characteristics of both the religions. So when I explain characters of Christianity, character of Krishna consciousness, one and same, it has to be understood in the sense that they are closely similar. They are very similar to each other, not exactly same, but very similar to each other. Due to the close similarity, because of the close similar nature, sometimes I use the term as one and same. Okay? And I also pointed out one and same by which way? Very closely similar in which way? By essence, not by outer formal cultural different ways of the presentations of Christianity and Krishna consciousness. Obvious, there are many differences. But by its essential, by both religions' essential nature, very fundamental nature of both the religions share, they are one and same. Okay. Why? And again, one and same means very closely similar. It has to be understood in that way. Because no two things in this world can be exactly exclusively one and same. So although we use that term one and same, but it's not to be literally taken as exactly one and same. It's meaning close similarity. Okay. So that's how I described about the relationship of both religions, Krishna consciousness and Christianity. And why I laid more importance on their more fundamental similarity, fundamental common nature, okay, harmonious relations, because the very essence of Krishna consciousness, very fundamental essence of Krishna consciousness is to promote the love of God, uphold the love of God in absolute sense, absolutely. I repeat, the very fundamental, the very essence of the pure Krishna consciousness is none other than to promote, to uphold the love of God absolutely. And the very same is also the essence of Christianity, love of God. Now question may arise, okay, but we do not see so developed ways of the manifestations of the love of God through enriched analysis of the rasas, okay, different mellows of divine love of God. We do not find that in Christianity so much as it is found in Krishna consciousness. There, Krishna consciousness is naturally very distinctive. Okay, it's quietly distinct compared to Christianity. Very true. But our Guru Maharaj also explained, Guru Maharaj Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhara Deva Goswami Maharaj once explained that we need to understand the Lord Jesus Christ wanted to give the love of God, give the religion of love of God by installment. Not according to the then time, place, situation, according to the people of that time, their ability to grasp, to understand, accept, according to their qualification. He presented love of God. So, meaning Jesus Christ did not present everything about love of God completely. Although he wanted to, he meant to, he rather preferred to give by installment. Very wisely explained. Meaning, Jesus Christ already knew. He already had that great treasure of love of God, what is found in Krishna consciousness, what has been explained very nicely, wonderfully, in more details in Krishna consciousness. He already had that treasure. Not that he did not know, not that he didn't have. He had that invaluable treasure. But he didn't want to give due to certain standards, certain levels of time, place, situations, certain levels of the abilities of the people he was presenting to the love of God. That's what Guru Maharaj meant. He gave by installment. And apparently some other things are missing in Christianity, what is found in Krishna consciousness. But it never meant in any way that Guru Maharaj mentioned that the core of Christianity, core of the presentation of Jesus Christ, essence of the presentation of Jesus Christ was missing that same treasure what is found in Krishna consciousness. He didn't necessarily mention that. He had that treasure, but he preferred not to give it. Not to give it due to time, place, situations. In this way. So thereby we find. And also another point is very important to understand. While Jesus Christ spoke about love of God, he naturally didn't speak of a love of God which is incomplete and partial. He naturally spoke of the love of God in a full-fledged nature, complete. He spoke, presented, he upheld that love of God which is complete in itself, not a part of love of God. But what he presented when he upheld the love of God, it was absolute love of God. Not a part of love of God, absolute love of God. That is also essence of Christianity. And same absolute love of God and love service of God, also essence of Krishna consciousness. There is no difference, real difference between these two. When we reach the level of the essence, core of Krishna consciousness in relation to love of God, and the same in relation to Christianity, the very target, final goal of both of them are same, non-different from each other. And also, not only love of God, alongside God, inevitably comes the necessity of God is not just only understood by mental service, by some love feelings only in a mental way, only in the world of thought or through another essential character of Krishna consciousness and Christianity, both. Okay? The devotees of Krishna, Lord Krishna from Krishna consciousness firmly believe and practice a life of devotional service to God, engaging in devotional service to God, and the same principle also followed and practiced by real Christian monks, holy saints there. No difference. In this way, I can present many principles, okay, found very much in common in Krishna consciousness, in Christianity, which are so closely similar, almost one and same. Okay, like we are speaking the same two different languages, in different styles, different cultural ways, but the very motto, okay, are very objective in those languages, no matter what so many different languages spoken to, but very thought is being expressed through different languages, more or less, at least, very closely. Okay, so same thought being expressed through different languages, same loving activities being done, different manners, in different ways according to different cultures. But all are means of expression of love, relations. So in that way, the same God consciousness, love of God, loving service to God, also being expressed by different religions, different styles, different ways, different languages, in different levels also. Therefore there are non-difference as well as some little differences. Both are together, unity and diversities. Both are together simultaneously between the religions. But those diversities are not negative diversities. Those diversities are found in relation to the unity. And the unity also found in relation to the diversities which are complementing the union, complementing the principles of union between and among the religions, religious principles. So this is it. So, like for example, like we find in the 10 Commandments of Jesus Christ, you must honor father and mother. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Okay? Then thou shalt not steal. You should not take the name of God in vain. Okay? Like those. Okay. We also find same principles in Krishna consciousness. We fully accept. Like, thou shalt not kill means promoting the principle of non-violence, forgiveness, kindness to one and all. Jesus Christ didn't necessarily say, don't kill only human beings. He said, thou shalt not kill. He said, don't kill anyone, including animals. Okay? Thou shalt not steal. Okay? Must honor your father and mother. Don't take God's name in vain. How it is called? Commandments. Beautiful. Let me see. God in vain, kind of. With full faith and with full reality, realistic power, firm reality, firm realistic faith, you should take the name of the Supreme Lord. Okay? But he said, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. You shall have no other gods before me. Means the Supreme God is one without second. God is one. So when he talked about Supreme God, he meant about the Supreme God who has always been, okay, who is one without second. Therefore he said, don't speak about other God before me. You shall have no other gods before me. There is only one and absolute God. Then, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images. That's different from Krishna consciousness. Everything is not exactly the same. Their concept of the images and deities are different from what we have. So, thou shalt not take the name of Lord thy God in vain. Okay? Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Honor your father and mother. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. See, most of these principles of these 10 commandments well accepted in the regulative principle, in the world of the regulative principles of Krishna consciousness. Okay. So, if not accepted exactly in the same way, but very closely similar ways, almost same way. Okay. So therefore, the other day, the day before yesterday, I laid more importance on proving, on explaining the very close similarities, non-difference, okay, between Christianity and Krishna consciousness by fundamental nature, by the nature of essence. I'm not talking about other different formal structure, this and that. We have got a lot of differences, obvious, in the formal way of the presentations, formal structure and stricture of the both religions and styles and ways of delivery, presentations. Okay. And no, distinction always there. No doubt that Krishna consciousness is more distinct, distinguished. If I conceive and conclude, or if we conclude, not just I, if we conclude from a very neutral but absolute stand of considerations of the both religions, that of Krishna consciousness, that of Christianity, of course we find there's more enriched ways of the descriptions and presentations of love of God, love service activities in relation to God in Krishna consciousness more, compared to how it is manifested in Christianity. So, Anarpita charing chirat karunayavatir nakkalo samarpayitumunnato jalarasam svabhakti sriyam haripurata sundaradvati kadamba sandipita sada hridaya kandari spuratu nakshuchinam. This is the reality, self-evident reality, what Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explained about the nature of the matchless gift of Mahaprabhu in his book Chaitanya Charitamrita. About the nature, I repeat, about the nature of the matchless, unparalleled, invaluable gift given by Lord Chaitanya, as if it was never given before. Anarpita charini chira, karunayavati nakkalo. What invaluable, matchless gift, ambrosial gift of Krishna consciousness. Matchlessly ambrosial gift, treasure of Krishna consciousness, presented, mercifully given by Mahaprabhu, was as if never given before. It was so valuable, it became invaluable. Describe invaluable. Because without match, that is called matchless, unparalleled. So, why? Because it is very true, in many, very true, that on the whole, the essence of Christianity as manifesting through Krishna consciousness is more enriched and more, more widely, extensively presented, okay, a more enriched way. So that's what we find from this neutral stand of considering about the presentation of both religions. But, so in that way, both of them are very similar, not same. Krishna consciousness and Christianity. But again, the very essence of the essential motto, goal of Christianity, an essential goal of Krishna consciousness, ultimately reach the same whether or not, okay, we fully understand. But the very intended goal, final intention of the both religions is same, is to attain the best of love of God, best nectarian taste of love of God, love relationship of God engagement, best engagement in best love service to God. Okay? That's what is finally intended in both religions. In the core, in the essence of both religions, and there is no difference in that. In that way. So in spite of some certain qualitative or quantitative differences, many of the principles, most of the fundamental, I'm not talking of formal law, most of the fundamental principles of Krishna consciousness and Christianity are very closely similar. They share common ground, same common ground. Undoubtedly it is. And that's why Srila Sri Thakur Prabhupada once said, Krishna consciousness is extended Christianity. Christianity has been more extended and enriched in Krishna consciousness, in that sense. Okay. And finally, Achinta Bheda. Simultaneously one, and simultaneously that of one and distinct nature which is inconceivable. So, Srimad Mahaprabhu's principle, okay, Lord Chaitanya's, the ideal principle, truth, that of Achinta Bheda Veda is also fully applied in relation to the considerations of both the religions, comparative studies, in relation to comparative studies and considerations of both the religions. What is that nature? The simultaneous oneness and distinctions, but which is finally inconceivable, cannot be fully conceived. How they are simultaneously one, so closely similar to each other. I mean, the essence of both the religions, fundamental truth of both the religions are so closely similar, almost same. How they are same, at the same time, they are also presented, tasted, felt, realized, also different ways, in distinctions. So both aspects are found in the comparative studies of both religions, but again in interrelated manner, interrelational manner, but not like, oh, this is separate religion and that is separate one. Okay? Never. No separate manner, but closely, harmoniously interrelated system we can embrace the essence of both the religions, which is none other than love of God and love service, pure love service to God, in different ways, different mellows, different colors, different beauty and fragrance, different ecstatic feelings, ambrosial feelings. But all is love. All is love of God, ecstatic love of God. All is finally ecstatic love service to God. Yes. So, this is it. Also, I would very much like to speak, okay, explain about the topics of Srila Puri Swami Maharaj's, Srila Puri Goswami's special choice behind his installation of Gaura Gadadhara deity here in Gopinath Gaudiya Math. Deities of Gaura Gadadhara Radha Gopinath Ji, Jagannath Lakshmi Sindhu. Very significant. Okay. although he was a great devotee of Gaura Nityananda, but following specific inspirations, specific divine inspiration, he concluded to install Gaura Gadadhara deity. Okay. In harmony, Thakur Bhakti Vinod's mood as manifested in Godruma. He also installed Gaura Gadadhara deity there, engaging in worship, intimate worships of Sri Gaura Gadadhara in Godruma deity. So following very similar mood of Gaura Gadadhara deities of Godruma Deepa, that esoteric mood of Thakur Bhakti Vinod, and also Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's some special desires to worship Sri Gaura Gadadhara besides Gaura Nityananda. He concluded to continue the same in his temple. So that's how he concluded, and that's what he did. He installed Gaura Gadadhara deity, introducing loving worship to Gaura Gadadhara as the corresponding manifestation of Radha Krishna Leela in Gaura Leela. See, besides Gaura Gadadhara deity, he also installed Radha Gopinath Ji, meaning the same Radha Krishna deity in Braja Leela and the same Radha Krishna as manifested in Gaura Leela as Gadadhara Gauranga, in harmony. It was his sweet mood behind the presiding temple deities he installed, Gaura Gadadhara, Radha Gopinath Ji. We all know Sri Radha Gopinath Ji are not just representing, Sri Radha Gopinath Ji are the manifestations of Prayojana Tattva, are the personification. That's the more appropriate language and word. Sri Radha Gopinath Ji are the personification, joint, unified personifications of the Prayojana Tattva. Prayojana means none other than the highest devotional love, highest love divine, highest loving devotion. While highest loving devotion becomes personified, I repeat, when highest loving devotion to the divine couple get personified, they become Prayojana. Krishna Prem, that's the Prayojana. Sambandha Vidya Prayojana. Prayojana means final goal, which is none other than Krishna Prema, ecstatic love of Krishna, blissful love of Krishna, meaning Radha Krishna. When we say Krishna Prema, Radha Prema are already included there. Sometimes devotees may feel, oh, you always say Krishna consciousness, no Radha consciousness. Always say Krishna Prema, no Radha Prema. Intelligent devotees will naturally understand, oh, it is inseparably, not just implied. It's not just implied, it's inseparably included within the conception, with the world of Krishna Prema. Because the world of Krishna Prema can never exist without world of Radha Prema. So it is inseparably united, already there. So when we speak of Krishna Prema, see Radha Prema already spoken, already narrated, already glorified therein, within. And vice versa. When we speak of Sri Radha Prema, Krishna Prema, whole infinite world of Krishna Prema, already included, embraced within it. Non-different, totally non-different in that way, in spite of some beautiful distinctions between, in order to create more enriched leelas, enriched manifestations and tastes of leela, distinction required. So in order to create distinct why? In order to create more variegated ways of the taste. Okay. Variegated ways of the taste and beautiful, colorfully beautiful realizations of the different leelas. Okay. But otherwise, they are so united with each other. Radha, both their divine love activities are so united with each other, related to each other, inseparable. They are simply inseparable. So the full-fledged conception, unlimited conception of Radha Prema, Krishna Prema are actually interwoven, united conception of both together. Not only conception of the ecstatic love of them, but also the conception of ecstatic service to both of them. Ecstatic love, service to both of them, also united in the same way. So, we should not really view them in a separate way. Realistically separate way, we cannot. It no more remains absolute, becomes very partialized. So, back to the point. Although we are used to use these terms, because Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, therefore everything goes around him and his name, everything goes centering Krishna. If anything which is centering Krishna is fulfilled. So therefore we use those languages, Krishna consciousness, Krishna Prema, Krishna Bhakti, instead of Radha consciousness, Radha Prema, Radha Bhakti. But Radha Prema, Radha consciousness, Radha Bhakti may not need to be separately spoken, because it is already embraced within Krishna consciousness, Krishna Prema, Krishna Bhakti. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, within such concept, already there, in full-fledged way. Okay? So, pure devotees felt, pure exalted devotees felt, it was not really required to separately always speak about Srimati Radha Thakurani, like Radha Prema, loving service to Srimati Radharani, because all are done anyway in relation to Krishna. And all the service to Krishna also done in relation to Srimati Radharani. So, therefore our previous acharyas, exalted devotees felt in that way. Therefore, that since Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, since Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, Swayam Bhagavan, so when we speak any words just centering around him, then everything is included there. All others, okay? I mean, everything relating to Srimati Radha Thakurani, who is none other than Swayam Rupa. Krishna is Swayam Rupa, Srimati Radharani is Swayam Rupa. He is Shaktiman, Krishna Shaktiman, she is Shakti. Full-fledged Shaktiman and Srimati Radharani, full-fledged Shakti, cannot be separated, truly cannot be separated at all. So when they found those exalted pure devotees, those previous Mahajanas found, so if we just simply say Krishna Bhakti, Krishna Prema, okay, Krishna Dharma means Krishna, Krishna consciousness, it means Radha consciousness, Radha Prema, Radha Bhakti, see, Radha Koinkarja, Radha Dasam, all included within that world of Krishna. Doesn't need to be separately spoken all the time. So this is another thing. Sometimes some devotees may feel that way, but devotees of Krishna, we cannot be devotees of Radharani. Radharani's group feel we are devotees of Radharani, we are not directly devotees of Krishna. In Leela positive sense, understandable. In a positive mood of some positive love competition, healthy competitions, and healthy mood of in a playful, loving, playful way, they are all understandable. But they cannot take place in a realistic way. Then it will be offending either Krishna or Srimati Radha. If we take only one side, when we are taking one side in relation to the other beloved Lord, then it is okay. But not independent, without relationship to the other Lord, then it becomes offensive. It becomes ignorant applications, ignorant practices. So, back to the point. Srila Pramode Puri Goswami Thakur felt that special inspiration following specific dhara, Rupa Dhara, felt that special inspiration to install here Gaura Gadadhara and Radha Gopinath Ji side by side as corresponding manifestations of each other in Gaura Leela as well as Braja Leela. Sweet, very sweet. Protection of the devotees who will be residing in this temple or overall for the protection of Krishna devotees. Okay, because in the path of sadhana, on the way of our progress in sadhana, we must require protection. We must essentially require the protection from Lord Nrsimhadev, merciful protection, so that our path of advancement, path of spiritual advancement remains more protected and becomes more free of obstacles, obstructions, dangers, remains protected. And Lord Nrsimhadev is not only just protector, he is saver. He is engaged in protecting the devotee as well as saving the devotee, as well as helping the devotees. After protection, also promoting the devotee's inspiration to engage in devotional service to Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu, divine couple, both. So Lord Nrsimha's role played in both ways. Lord Nrsimha's important role, vital role, played both ways. Primarily in the form of protection, giving protections, and then secondarily, thereafter also helping further to make advancement, helping further with further incentives, okay, encouragement, enthusiasm in the world of devotional service to the Mahaprabhu divine couple. That's why he also installed Lord Nrsimha deity and of course Jagannath Dev. Lord Jagannath, such a great savior of all the fallens. That is one of the very, very typical and very specific characteristics of Lord Jagannath. Patita Pavana Jagannath Sarvesha Vrindavana Chandra Sarva Rashira. Thakur Bhakti Vinod. So Thakur Bhakti Vinod describes Jagannath Dev in this way in his writings in one place. Patita Pavana Jagannath Sarvesha Vrindavana Chandra Sarva Rashira. মহাপুরুষ শতনাম নিত্যানন্দ শতনাম আছে না, এটা কার্তিক মাসে করা হয় আমাদের মঠে, ওখানে দেখবে লাইনস আছে। He describes Jagannath Dev as Patita Pavana, great savior of all fallen souls, great saviors of the sinners, great saviors of the fallen. Patita Pavana, Jagannath, by nature, who is Sarveshwar, the Lord of the universe. Jagannath, Sarveshwar, the Lord of everything, Lord of everything, Lord of the universe, herein manifesting as great Savior, in the form of great Savior, in the form of Jagannath deity. But originally, he is none other than Vrindavana Chandra. In the next line is described. Vrindavana Chandra is none other than the full moon of Braja, full moon of Vrindavana, full, beautiful, wonderful moon of Vrindavana. Here moon is described as the king, emperor, full moon-like, fully moon-like emperor, moon-like, full moon-like, beautiful king, Rasharaj, king, emperor of the Braja. That's how he says Vrindavana Chandra. And what is his characteristic? Sarva Rashira Akar. He is the Akar. He is the origin, source of all the rasas, of all the blissful mellows of love of God. All the mellows, ambrosial mellows of nectarian love of himself. Love of Supreme God means him, Krishna. Vrindavana Chandra Sarva Rashiraya. That is the inner identity of Lord Jagannath. He is not just manifesting as Dwarokesha Krishna. He is not just manifesting in Puri only as Dwarokesha Krishna over there, Lord of Dwaroka, but also Lord of Vrindavana, as Srimati Radharani found her beloved Lord Krishna in Kurukshetra. As Srimati Radharani, I repeat, Srimati Radharani related to her beloved Lord Krishna in Kurukshetra, completely exclusively as Vrindavanadhisha, Lord of Braja, beloved Lord of her life, and not as the Lord of Dwaroka. Although Dwarokesha Krishna came to Kurukshetra, but it's by Tattva it's the same, by Leela Bhe, by Leela oriented nature, or by the distinctions affected by the nature of Leela, such differences, Vrindavana Chandra, Vrindavana Adhisha Krishna, Mathuresha Krishna, Dwarokesha Krishna, but by the nature of the absolute Tattva, it's the same Lord. So, the way Srimati Radharani related to that Krishna Chandra in Dwaroka, exclusively Lord of Braja, Lord of Vrindavana, none other than her own beloved Lord, and not as Dwarokesha Krishna. And that's how Sriman Mahaprabhu also viewed. That's what Sriman Mahaprabhu also visualized, viewed, had darshan of Lord Jagannath, as Lord of Vrindavana, not as Lord of Dwaroka. Mostly, maybe here and there some tinge of, some tinge of influence of Dwarokesha Krishna came in Mahaprabhu. After all, he is also Krishna by Tattva. So that taste also came, connection also came in Mahaprabhu. But mostly the way he related to Jagannath deity, Jagannath Deva Puri, as Vrindavana Krishna, as Vrindavanadhisha Krishna, Lord of Vrindavana. Muralidhar, holding flute, engaged in playing flute. Great charmer, attractor, the heart of Srimati Radharani, Braja Gopis, irresistibly filling their heart with his own love ecstasy, blissful love, and thereby irresistibly attracting their heart towards him by his own unlimitedly love bliss, unlimited power of his own ecstatic love. So that's how he looked at Jagannath. So that is the original view. That is the original identity. Or innermost identity of Lord Jagannath as Vrindavanadhisha Krishna. Simply, most naturally. Because while Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, while it is said, described, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, he is none other than Krishna Braja, Rasaraja Krishna. So, whether Srimati Radha Thakurani or Lord Gauranga, Lord Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, imbued, overwhelmed in the Radha Bhava, naturally related to same Jagannatha Krishna as the Lord of Vrindavana, Vrindavanadhisha Krishna, and not otherwise. Quite naturally, in the original way, Rasaraja way. Rasaraja form. So that Jagannatha deity also installed here in this beautiful temple. And in connection of the description of Gopinath Leela, Gopinath Krishna Leela, there is another vast world of taste and realization. Sriman Rasa Rasarambhi Bangshi Bhatatata Sthita Karshan Venu Shanair Gopi Gopinath Sthina. Pranam Mantram, one of the main principal pranam mantrams of Radha Gopinath. Sriman Rasa Rasarambhi Bangshi Bhatatata Sthita Akarshan Karshan Venu Shanair Gopinath Sthina. This is another full world of the nectarian description, narration of their glories. I prefer to speak about this, Sri Radha Gopinath topics, glorification of them, next day, the next time, either day after tomorrow or day after. Today I humbly remain here. Hare Krishna.